Good morning. My name is Marissa Perez-Dormitzer, and I'm the recycling coordinator.
Hi, my name is Meg Hebert, and I'm the recycling assistant.
Okay, thank you. We'll make sure to speak louder. And so we're here today to talk about recycling. We're going to go over why it's important to recycle, also how you can recycle with your carts at home and here as well. And then also we'll mention some items that can go in the recycling carts, and then also some items that cannot go in the recycling carts. And so Meg and I are both representing the Greater New Bedford Regional Refuse Management District. And so the refuse district includes both New Bedford and Dartmouth, and we also run what's called the Crapo Hill landfill, and that's where trash is disposed of from the two communities. And so first we want to talk about why recycling is important. So why do we separate all these different items out from the rest of the trash and put them in a separate cart? And so there are many reasons. I'll just mention a few. And so first is that these items can be made into new products. So for example, this hat is made out of soda bottles. And so this is a great example of recycling. And so instead of having these items sit in the landfill, they can make new products that then people go and buy and become usable. And so that's one great reason we recycle. Another reason that we recycle that's a little more local, it has to do with the landfill. I mentioned the Crapo Hill landfill. And so by recycling, we extend the life of the Crapo Hill landfill. We're really fortunate to have the landfill because A, it's close by. It's actually in the back of the business park in the far north end of the city. And then B, we're very fortunate to have a relatively low cost of disposal in New Bedford as compared to other communities. And so we really want to preserve the resource, the Crapo Hill landfill, and so we want to make sure we don't put any recyclable items in there. We want to keep that space for items that need to go in the landfill. And so as many of you may know, a few years ago, 2014, it seems like a while ago now, the city implemented the new cart program with these new carts that everyone has now and pretty much used to them. And so as a result of implementing this program, trash has gone down by 30%. So that means we're sending 30% less trash to the Crapo Hill landfill, which is really awesome. However, Meg and I and other city staff continue to look in the recycling and the trash carts, and we're still seeing recyclables in there. Bottles, cans, paper, cardboard. And so we're asking for your help to try to recycle everything that can be recycled. And so we'll go over a lot of those items today, but it'll really help the city to extend the life of the landfill, keep it open as long as we can, and keep those recyclables out of there. And so now Meg is going to talk about how to recycle with your cart, what items can be recycled, and then we'll go over what shouldn't go in there.
Thank you, Marissa. Behind me, there's many examples of recyclables. There's a poster that shows what should go in the cart, and then there's examples on the table. So by a shout out of a yes, how many people think that a laundry jug should be recycled?
I do.
Yes, awesome, great job. So yes, sometimes people focus on just things from the kitchen. However, we can also recycle things from the laundry room. And then how about things from the bathroom, such as a shampoo bottle or a body wash bottle? By a shout out with a yes, how many people think that is recyclable? Yes, awesome, good job. And then we have a soda bottle. What do you think? Is that a recyclable? Yes, good job. And then same with the water bottle. We all know that one's recyclable, correct? Yes. How about the yogurt cup? Is that acceptable in the recyclable? Yes, correct. We now take those in the recyclable cart. They should be rinsed out. So you want to finish the yogurt and give it a quick rinse so you're not placing yogurt in the cart. How about cans such as food cans, soup cans, and juice cans? Yes, those are a very highly recyclable items, so those definitely belong in the recycling cart. How about a clean aluminum foil plate? Yes, exactly. Now, if that was covered in food and grease, would that go in the recycle cart? That is correct. Yep, we don't want food in the recycle cart, but that's a nice clean one, so that is recyclable. How about an empty aerosol can? Yes, you are correct. That's a relatively new one, so nice job on knowing that. When that is empty, we do accept that in the recycling cart. Yep. And how about glass bottles? Here we have a brown soda bottle and we've got a clear tea bottle. Correct. Those are recyclable. Yep. Excellent. And what's that? Oh, and how about if that was broken? What if that fell on the floor, one of those bottles, and it smashed? Would we want broken glass in the recycling cart? Correct. Awesome. We do not want broken glass in the recycling cart because there are humans that sort the recyclables. The materials go on a conveyor belt, and there's people there trying to grab things that are the wrong items off of the belt. So safety first. We don't want anyone getting cut. So broken glass should be packaged up and even labeled. You could put some tape around the box or the coffee can that you're able to put the broken glass in and write broken glass. That way, if someone came along and thought, hey, this box should go in the recycling, they would know, no, that actually has broken glass in it. So now we have another relatively new item, the cartons. We've got a milk carton, we've got a juice box. What do you think, recyclable? Yes, good job. Awesome. And if you have grandkids over and they have the juice box, you just want to have them finish the juice and then remove the straw. The straw would go in the trash because it's a small item, it doesn't sort properly, and so we would accept both of those cartons, so milk and orange juice cartons, as well as box cartons from things like soup, broth, almond milk, soy milk, so those are acceptable. Just want to empty them out and give them a quick rinse and drain them if you can, because we don't want the liquid, just the box. All right, how about an egg carton? Is this a yes? This is okay for the recyclable. Yep, there's 3 kinds of egg cartons. We do take this paperboard kind. There's also a see-through plastic kind. That is acceptable. But there's a foam kind that we don't take. So it's commonly called a styrofoam container. We don't take that. So maybe that's what you were thinking. So good thought on that. But this one would be recyclable. Yep. And then we have newspaper. How about things like office paper, newspaper? Yes, this is a definite yes. So any clean paper is highly recyclable and a very sought after product. So we definitely want to recycle that paper into something new. Like Marissa talked about at the beginning, we want to make new products out of these items. So paper is a very good thing to recycle. Now, what if you had some sensitive tax documents that you wound up shredding up to protect your information? Would you want to throw shredded paper into the cart? We can recycle it, but this is the one exception where we would bag the material so that the shredded paper does not fly all over the city. And at the recycling plant, they need to be able to see that it's shredded paper through that clear bag so they can then pick that out, put it with other shredded paper, and deal with it as just shredded paper. So this is, like I said, that one and only exception. Otherwise, it's very important to not bag your recyclables because at the sorting facility, you want nice, loose materials like you see in the poster and what you see on the table here, because the materials go onto a conveyor belt and they're bouncing along, and then they need to go in with their proper type of materials. So the paper needs to go in with the paper, the bottles go in with the other bottles, and the cans go in with the other cans. So if you bag them, it makes that process much more difficult. So if you do bring your recyclables to the cart in a bag, you want to go ahead and shake that bag out, let the papers, bottles, cans, jugs, jars, cartons fall into the cart, and then you deal with the plastic bag separately. And we have here an example of a cardboard cup holder. Do you think this is recyclable? Yes. Correct. Yep. This is another example, kind of like the egg carton. So yes, that is a good one. How about the tube from inside of toilet paper or paper towels? What do you think? This is an okay. This is just nice, clean paperboard, or like a cardboard type. So this is acceptable. Okay, so that's fine. And then how about tissue boxes, snack food boxes, cereal boxes? Great, I heard a yes, and these are perfect things to recycle. Nice, clean paper, excellent thing to recycle. Yep. And how about corrugated cardboard? Correct. Yep. This is a nice bulky item, excellent thing to recycle. Now, something that is corrugated cardboard but is a little bit of a question mark, how about that pizza box? All right. Good. Exactly. No food. So you always want to make sure you would get rid of any food, hopefully finish the food up. And then what often happens is the top of the pizza box might be perfectly clean. So you can go ahead and rip the top off, recycle the top, and then throw out the bottom that has the grease on it. Okay, so any greasy cheese, sauce, any of that would go in the trash. And then also, if there's any liners or small plastic objects that were in the pizza box, those go in the trash. Okay, we don't want small plastic items, because at the sorting facility, they're only set up to deal with items of a certain size. Like you see what we just went over at the table, they're set up to deal with those bottles, cans, cartons, jugs, jars, paper, and cardboard. But they're not set up to deal with little items that you might find. And so something like a loose bottle cap, if you find just the loose bottle cap, it'd be better to just put that in the trash. If you still had the bottle, you can go ahead and put that plastic bottle cap back on the plastic bottle. That way it's not just a loose item that's just floating around on the recycling line. It's too small for it to be sorted properly. So now we can get into some of the no's, and so Marissa is showing off some of these items that they're not the right size and shape for recycling. So this flat coffee lid, sometimes it has that recycling symbol on it and a number. However, it doesn't sort properly. Since it's flat, it winds up going in with the paper. So then it becomes a contaminant in with the paper items. So it's good to know that we should not recycle the lids. Same with things like the straw or a little plastic toy. You might think, well, it's plastic, but again, it's not the right size and shape. So just keep that in mind, that we're only looking for the examples that we went over earlier. And okay, we also have recently learned that you don't want to flatten your containers, because, as I mentioned, things that are flat tend to land in with the paper. So it's better to leave the containers the size and shape that they are. That helps them get into the proper bale that's sorted for that type of material. So it's the same like with the carton. If the carton is just left whole, then they can much more easily sort the cartons with the other cartons. Now we have a few examples of some no. That was great. We already heard people knew not to recycle the styrofoam in with the other items. So again, even though these meat trays and these styrofoam cups and these plates often have that recycling symbol, and it tells you what type of plastic it is, that's what the number means, it tells you the type of plastic, it does not necessarily mean that we're able to recycle that locally in with our other materials. So these, at this time, go in the trash, okay? So meat trays, styrofoam cups. So if you had a Dunkin' Donuts cup, the white foam one would go in the trash. The see-through cup can be recycled. They just don't want the lid or the straw. The lid and the straw would go in the trash. Now, this is the number one contaminant at the recycling facility: plastic bags, case wrap, bread bags. We call this case wrap or overwrap. It comes over multi-packs of water bottles or multi-packs of paper products like toilet paper, paper towels. Now, if these are clean and dry, you may recycle these at the grocery store. There's a bin usually found near the entrance or sometimes the exit of the stores, and it will say plastic bags, and they're looking for this clean and dry type of bag. And this is the basic type of bag. You don't want to get creative and put too many things in. They're not looking for things like chip bags or candy wrappers, so they're only looking for things like these retail grocery bags and this overwrap from water bottles or a bread bag, but you want to go ahead and shake out those breadcrumbs because they just want clean, dry plastic film such as this. And companies can buy that back, and they can make plastic lumber. So you may have seen a deck, a porch, or a ramp built of plastic lumber. So this is about 50% plastic film, or these plastic bags, and it's about 50% sawdust, and then they can use dyes and color it different colors. So this is a cool product that can be made from these plastic bags. So it's like Marissa was saying earlier, we want to make new things out of these items. That's what recycling is all about. So go ahead and you can save up your plastic bags and bring them back to a grocery store, but do not put them in the regular curbside recycling cart, because when these land at the sorting facility, they tangle around the sorting gears, the equipment, and it causes a huge headache. So every single day at recycling sorting facilities, they need to shut down the equipment. Workers have to go in with box cutters on these gears, so it's a dangerous job, and they need to cut out the bags out of the gears and pull them out. It's a long, difficult job. So if we can all remember to keep these plastic bags out of the recycling cart, that will make their job a lot easier. So that's a really important. If you take anything away from today, we want to remember to recycle all paper, cardboard, bottles, cans, jugs, jars, and cartons. But that's about it. You don't want to get creative and think, oh, well, this thing is plastic, so I think it should go in. If you're in doubt, you give us a call. So here's some other examples, like chip bags, candy wrappers. What do you think? Do those go in the recycling? Good job, correct. They do not belong in the recycling. So if you ever come across an item and you're not sure, you can just go ahead and you can call City Hall and ask to be connected to the recycling office, or we'll let you know our number, or if we have our annual flyer that we send out, we publicize our number. I'll even let you know right now so you have that. So it's 508-979-1493. So always feel free to give us a call. We're happy to answer any recycling questions that you may have. So again, that phone number for the recycling office is 508-979-1493. Marissa, do you want to say?
Thank you, Meg. I just wanted to add, we also have a very helpful website, www.newbedfordrecycling.org. And then we also, if you're on Facebook, we have a great Facebook page, New Bedford Recycling, and there we offer tips very frequently about different things that could be recycled, other things, the transfer station. So we have a lot of information available. Does anyone have any questions at this point? No questions. It seems pretty clear.
We have a question.
Oh, okay.
Okay, do you take the plastic covers? Thank you. So the question was, do you take the plastic covers off of the milk cartons or the milk bottles or the soda bottles? So great question. So you can leave those on. So the plastic caps can just remain on. Great question. So it's safer for the cap just to be on rather than for it to be loose, because it's such a small item, it won't sort properly at the sorting facility. But if it's connected to its container, such as the plastic water bottle, when they go to make new items out of the plastic water bottle, they chop up the plastic bottle into small pieces and wash the plastic. The plastic cap is made out of a different type of plastic than the bottle. It's a number 5 plastic in general, and that floats on the water that's used to wash the plastic. So they're able to use a net and skim that plastic off, put that plastic in one area, and make that into something new. and then they can use the other plastic from the plastic bottle to make other things. One thing they tend to make is clothing. So something like this vest, so fleece, polyester, that can be made from plastic water bottles. So that's a great question, and I'm glad you brought that up. And so just so you know, plastic is from petroleum. So rather than digging up new petroleum, it's a great idea to recycle. So that way we're just using plastic that's already around rather than digging up more petroleum to make these type of items. So great question. And on the metal caps, you can leave the metal caps off of, say, like a spaghetti sauce jar, because those can get sorted more easily into a new place. So the metal lids you could leave off, but the plastic caps go ahead and put back on. So thank you very much. Yep. Yep. Marissa, did you want to cover that?
Sure. So the recyclables go to various sorting facilities. So Meg mentioned a little bit about the sorting facilities. So there are various facilities in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, and they're very high tech because they have to separate. As we know, we have single stream recycling now where you put it all together in the one cart. And so they have to separate all of that out into the plastics and the metals and the paper. And so they have all different kind of machines in those sorting facilities. In the beginning, the materials go on a conveyor belt, and there are people hand sorting, but they also have magnets that pull the steel cans out, and other blowers and different things that really can help separate that out. Because as we know, once we put it together, it's kind of a mixed hodgepodge, but they have these, it's an excellent system that they use to separate out all of those recyclables into the different commodities that are then sold to make new products, as we had mentioned before. Yep, great, thank you. I wouldn't mind adding just one other thing before we wrap up. So I have 4 children, and we go through a lot of clothes. We end up having ripped socks and ripped jeans. And so I do like to mention that we don't want clothing to be placed in the trash. And so not everyone understands that even if an item is ripped or holey or stained, it can still go to one of the different donation boxes that you might see around the city. And so what I do at home is that if we have things that are in good shape and maybe the kids have just outgrown them, we donate those to Gifts to Give, because then they get used locally. They get used here. But then if we have items that are ripped or torn, my husband's holey socks, those we put into a bag and we bring that to one of the different donation boxes that are around the city. You may have seen them. They had the yellow ones for Planet Aid. They come in all different colors and all different companies. And so that's a great way to make sure that you have enough space in your trash cart for your actual trash. So I encourage you to consider that when you're going through your closets, to try to donate things, even if they are holey or stained. They can still make use of them. For those items that are holey or stained, they end up making rags out of them, like wiping cloths, or they can use them for insulation, like in cars or different cushions. And so that's a great program that's in place. There's a nice infrastructure for that. Great. Are there any other questions?
I noticed you don't have any canned vegetables there. Those are recyclable, aren't they?
They are. So the question was about canned vegetables. So we do have Meg's artichoke hearts. I always point out Meg's artichoke hearts. So we do take canned vegetables, canned peas, canned corn. Good, great question. So the lids are often sharp. And so we say to either discard that lid because we don't want you to get hurt, or sometimes the lid can be pushed inside and then you can squeeze the can, but that's a little hard to do. So really the best thing to do is to discard that sharp lid. We had talked about the recycling facility, and so when there are things like that that are flat, like that lid, that can end up being mixed in with the paper. And so we don't want it to go to the wrong place because then it becomes a contaminant. And so that's why it's really best to put that lid in the trash. Okay, thank you. Okay, great.
Okay, thank you. Good question. A little clarification on the shredded paper. So it's that one exception with that shredded paper. It can be contained in a see-through plastic bag, and it can go into the recycling cart. And at the sorting facility, they like it to be in a nice, durable, see-through plastic bag because they don't want that bag to break open at the sorting facility before they're able to grab it, put it in with the other shredded paper, and then deal with it as just shredded paper. So it can go in the recycling. It just needs to be contained and in a see-through bag. Yes. And also to point out, you might live at a place that has a different color recycling cart. In the past, we had some blue and green recycling carts. So whatever are your designated recycling carts, be sure to seek those out, even if they don't have the orange lid. But you should figure out which ones are your designated recycling carts and go ahead and, again, recycle all clean paper, cardboard, bottles, cans, jugs, jars, and cartons. So it's pretty simple. Those are the things we're looking for to get turned into new items, new products. And then the other items you find wherever your trash goes. So in some communities, you might have a cart with a blue lid for trash, or you might have a trash chute, or what you have to figure out whatever your system is for the trash. So any other questions? Thank you for those great questions. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Great, thank you so much. And I just encourage you to recycle everything that can be recycled, all of these nice items that we have here on the table. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call us at 508-979-1493. Thank you very much.